So now we are going to see the indirect object. The indirect object, as I said before, we have to look at the verb. What kind of verb do we have? Told. You always tell something, you always tell somebody something, or you tell something to somebody. So this is a three-place verb because you need the subject, you need two noun phrases after that. That is to say, somebody, to somebody, something. So let's look at this sentence. Some weird customers told us the right answer. Some weird customers is the subject, that is the function. Noun phrase is the category. Some is a determiner quantifier. Weird premodifier adjective. Customers head noun. Told is a special kind of verb. It is a detransitive verb. We can call it detransitive or bitransitive. Generally, I call it bitransitive, but as the book that we are following calls them detransitive, in order not to give you so many names, I decided to call it detransitive. So it is a detransitive verb. Why? Because it subcategorizes for two noun phrases. We've got the indirect object, that is an objective pronoun, and the direct object. The indirect object, objective pronoun, us, this is a kind of personal pronoun, the object pronoun. As you can see here, I linked it to a website of the British Council. Pronouns are words that take the place of nouns. We often use them to avoid repeating the nouns that they refer to. Pronouns have different forms for different ways, for the different ways we use them. So here we've got personal pronouns, and in personal pronouns we've got the subject pronouns and the object pronouns. So this is precisely what we have here. We've got an object pronoun, or objective. I call it objective, but well, okay, object pronoun is the same. And then we've got the direct object, told us the right answer. The is the determiner definite article, right, premodifier adjective, because it premodifies the word answer, that is the head noun. Now, I want us to see what is the indirect object. It may be defined as the person that receives something, the something being the direct object. When we have a sentence like this one, some weird customers told us the right answer, we received this, the direct object, the right answer. So here we've got some other examples, and the noun functioning as indirect object either precedes the direct object or else it follows it, but then it is introduced by the preposition to. Let's look at this example. In this case, it precedes the direct object, but in this case, let's look at it. The old president must send an ultimatum to his enemies. The old president, I didn't analyze this inside. Verb group must send. Must is a modal auxiliary. It is here written, modal auxiliary. And this is a detransitive verb. Now we're going to look into that. Direct object, that is the function, category, noun phrase. Determiner, and it is an indefinite, it is there, indefinite article. And ultimatum is the head, that is the role, noun. And to his enemies is the indirect object, but this time it is a prepositional phrase. So in this prepositional phrase, we've got a head, that is the preposition, and the prepositional complement, and it is a noun phrase. We've got a possessive determiner, his, and head noun. Now let's go again to the classification of verbs. Here we've got the detransitive verb. We've got the subject, verb, and then indirect object and direct object, SVIODO. D-transitive verbs occur with two object phrases, an indirect object and a direct object. So Fred gave her a huge vote of confidence. So here in the summary that I wrote for you, we've got D-transitive verbs, but it needs two versions. It's a three-place verb. As you can see, obligatorily we need a subject, obligatorily we need a direct object, and obligatorily we need an indirect object and a direct object. But the order in which they are will depend on how we put it. John gave me a present, or John gave a present, and then we are going to have a prepositional phrase, to me. That is the indirect object. Then there is another kind of structure, that is the objective complement. What is the objective complement? Objective complements take another type of verb, that is the complex transitive verb. Let's look at different examples and then we'll analyze the sentence. The objective complement or predicative, it's also called predicative complement, but we're going to call it objective complement. Here we've got some grammatical explanations that, well, we are not going to pay attention to that, but look at this. This is the thing with the objective complement. I found the box empty. How do we know that? First of all, how many elements do we have after the verb found? Two elements, the box and empty. Okay, what relationship do these two elements have between them? They may have the relationship of subjective complement. That is to say, the box was empty. He likes his coffee strong. His coffee is strong. I want everything ready by 7. Everything is ready. He wished himself dead. He, not himself, because you can have himself as a subject. He was dead. So this is a way of testing this. What we need here is a complex transitive verb, because when you say I found the box, it is possible to say that, but what you want to say is that you found the box and that you found it empty. So that is why you're going to say I found the box empty. You say that he likes his coffee and he likes his coffee strong. So that is why it is a complex transitive verb. The transitivity is complex because the direct object has a relationship of subjective complement with the other element that it has after it. So here you've got some other examples, and let's go to the analysis. We've got the subject, that is the function, category, noun phrase, function, predicate, category, verb phrase. The proud parents called their little newborn Abel. The is the determiner, definite article, proud pre-modifier, adjective, parents is the head noun, called, complex transitive verb, their little newborn is the direct object noun phrase, and here the analysis is possessive determiner, pre-modifier, adjective, head noun. Able is the objective complement noun phrase. So the newborn, the little newborn is or was, doesn't matter, the tense, able. But what I want to show you is that it fits. It has to fit. Yes, it has to make the direct object and the objective complement have to make a coherent, let's say, sentence. Now, let's look at complex transitive verbs in the classification of verbs. We have seen already intransitive verbs, monotransitive verbs, detransitive verbs, and now complex transitive verbs. The pattern is subject, verb, direct object, and, well, here they call it object predicative. We call it objective complement, but it's the same. Or subject, verb, direct object, and obligatory adverbial. Okay, now we are going to see that. Complex transitive verbs occur with a direct object, that is a noun phrase, which is followed by either an object predicative or what we call objective complement, a noun phrase or an adjective, or an obligatory adverbial. For example, people called him Johnny. He was Johnny. Or he put his hand on the child's shoulder. This is not an objective complement, but it is what we call obligatory adverbial.